Welcome back to another episode of Too Skin to Scrap. We're back on the Amazon. It's been a bit of a break, but as you saw, we've got the new workshop. I hope you guys like that video. I think we've got a part 2 coming, or you might have seen the part 2 as well, building the spray booth. We need to get that place boxed off. I'm working full time out of there now. If you want to check us out and you want the work doing on your car or motorbike, painting, welding, whatever you need, check out Top Touch Coachworks. We're on Facebook, Instagram, we've got a website. Get in contact. I'm happy to do some of your work on the YouTube channel if you've got a decent project. If not, I'll always take photos and send them to you guys. But the other Amazon shell is going off to the scrapyard, or the car heaven. She's given us plenty of bits, but let's get the last bits cut off this shell, which is that inner wheel arch section on the front. I'm literally just going to cut a massive section out of it, and we'll work out what we need once we get it up the workshop, and we can weld that in and make that corner good. The other side's all right, but we're just going to take this off. Plenty to be done, so let's crack on.
But you long gone, it don't matter. Ride or die, that's been the deal.
So, looking at the other one, we're basically gonna keep this rad mount, whatever you want to call it, structural part. We're gonna take this along here, down through here, and then we're gonna go off the edge of this, up round here, just take more than we need, come down here, through and across here, and we'll keep as much of this one, which is good, as we can. So stick it back on time lapse now and watch me cut this whole section out and see how much this suspension moves afterwards. Hopefully nothing, because I don't think that's actually part of the structure of that part, you know. I don't think so, but we'll see. But this is going off to the scrapyard anyway, so who cares?
But if you don't play that for me, I'm out of it, I'm out of it. I lick my gun and then I'm done. I'm out of it, I'm out of it. And no man to tell me you're no good. I'm brushing away, the weight of you, of my shoulder. So done with my cigarette, and when all the smoke is clear, I'm brushing away.
Well, if you didn't know already what was inside one of these, door hinges are both attached here and here to that, and to the inside edge that runs down here, or the outside edge of the inner wing runs down here. The door hinges are attached to that. There's also another little strengthening piece in here. This is obviously box section. There's quite a strong piece in there. But I don't think we're going to have to replace that. Obviously, I've oversized cut this because I just want some outside material. I need a little bit from up here. Don't think as bad as what I've cut out here. Same with all down here. I don't think it's anywhere near as bad as most of this that I've cut out. But just keeping the good bits that I do need. You know, we're going to rebuild this corner section down here. I'm not sure if I even need any of this edge, but it's good to have more than not enough. But the first thing we're going to do now, grind all this back, wire brush it all back, get all this under seal and everything off of here, so we can at least see what's under it, because you can start to see there's a little bit of rust here, there's a little bit of rust here, but this is so much nicer than what we've got on the other car. So I think that's all we need. So after cutting all that section off the Volvo, I've not really had a chance to do anything else. We've moved into the workshop. Hope you all enjoyed the last video on the making this into something half decent. I'm just waiting for a few bits in the spray booth. I have painted it in there mostly. Just waiting for the electrician to come so that he can fit the new lights in there. And it'll be super bright and a lot better then. But in the meantime, we've got to have a look at this Volvo door. So I'm gonna grind back all the door. Let me show you. Let me turn you around and I'll show you what I mean. So this is what we're working with. Yeah, there's a bit of surface rust up here, but that's nothing. I'll grind that back now. What the main issue is, this corner has been built out with what looks like fiberglass. Yeah, it's fiberglass and filler in here. Bottom of the door's absolutely knackered. We've got a patch welded in here. And then it's also gone here at the front. I don't know how far this filler goes. And obviously the paint is absolutely done for. So I'm gonna grind this back with a strip and clean wheel till we get rid of all this filler, so we can see where we have a good starting base. And then we'll cut this out. And the bottom of the door flitches over, so we need to make a piece of metal that flitches over. Luckily we ain't got too much this way to worry about. We just have to turn that edge over. And again, this side is pretty straight all the way down, and we have like a little, I'll have to have a look at the other door before we make that. I think that's just a square corner, but let's just start as we mean to go on and just get this stripped down, and we'll go from there. So I'll stick you on time lapse. Here we go. Well, I knew it was bad, but I didn't realise I'd be pulling out an inch of filler out of the whole lot. I've just scratched up this top section. I'm going to put some paint stripper on the whole door and I'll just take this back to bare metal. The red is the original oxide primer from the original paint, but so much of this is terrible. But let's get the bottom of this door cut out. Yeah, we're going to replace probably 6 inches of this. So let's get this cut off and see what we've got to work with behind us.
Of my shoulder, done with my cigarette. But when all the smoke is clear, I'm brushing away to you, the way to you, the way to you. Don't need another man.
This is beautiful. Look at this. I knew this was the case, but we can remake this section. That's no problem. This we'll deal with in a bit. This corner's worse than I thought as well. We might have to go up a bit further. It might be worth me just drawing a nice straight line all the way across here and taking off quite a bit more, just so that we can get to real nice fresh metal here, real nice fresh metal up here. I can feel it's nice, just, you know, from about there maybe. So if we go up a couple of inches, it looks like another fucking 3, 4, 6 inches. We've got a nice straight line along here. Grind these edges back off. So this obviously flitches right round over the inner. So good technique is just to grind this side off, and then that front section will come off and that back section will come off. Obviously making these corners so the flitch comes over on both sides isn't going to be the easiest, but we'll tackle that when we get to that point. Let's get the ruler out, draw a straight line, grind these edges back and cut some more out. But nice present for you, nice bit of rust there. And as soon as that starts and you leave that in there, it's just going to cause more rot. It's not great in here. But this was actually the better of the 2 doors we had. The other one was all fiberglass in this bottom section. But we'll make this door real good. Let's get the ruler out scribe a line, cut a line, and move on from there. So looks like, I think this section's already been replaced in here. Looks like they've cut it here and replaced this whole bottom section that's rotted out again. I think I'm gonna have to do the same. I'm gonna have to cut along here and come up. These are spot welds, I think. So it could be that I could get these off and maybe actually take this section out. And this is a factory line here, so that would be good. I could still overlap on that, but I am gonna have to make this section in pieces because trying to bend this corner around and up, I think I'm gonna have to make this corner, because that is all just fiberglass and crap and mesh and all of that, I think. And there's a lot of filler there, or fiberglass filler stuff. So I'm just gonna have to cut here. I might have to go up a little bit further on this section. So I'm gonna have to make this section here. This is all right, this is just a flat piece. So we've got one bend down here, one bend here, and then another bend here for the flitch to come over. Top section's not too bad. We can just come down, and then we've got that curve at the end. Kept the original piece so I know what the bend's like, and putting the bend in is no problem. I think this is going to be the hardest bit, and this is going to be the hardest bit. This one is going to be even harder because what I've got here is not a great representation of what I need to copy. But let's cut these sections out and we can start working on what we need to make this interior section. I might just grind all these back, see where we're at, see if that will come loose. I'm going to cut this off. It's like 2mm. I think I have some 2mm plate here anyway. Is that nut and bolted or just a tack on? No, I'm just going to weld to the end of that and just make a new bit that comes to this. That is fucking terrible, that is. But someone's done a good job to keep this car on the road. I think this and that boot is really the worst sections, and we've done well to make the boot. So let's have a go at this and see what we can do. I'm going to start by grinding these out and see if that causes any movement, which would be nice. I'm going to cut this off. We can sort that out later once we've done everything else, but let's do some more work on this then. Let's get this apart, ready to be rebuilt. Never done this much work before on a door. This is new to me, so follow along, guys. Well, there's not a lot of that door left. Obviously, I have kept the pieces. So we've got this piece. That's going to be nice and easy, just a couple of bends. I literally think this is where somebody has bodged this new section in. There's like a little bit of filler in there, maybe 5mm of filler. They spot welded the new bit to the old bit where the whole bottom had rotted out. And this is what happens when you don't treat your metal. You know, this is just rusted again. There's no holes in the bottom of this for the water to get out either. So we'll definitely be putting some holes in this somewhere near the lowest point of the door. We want water to get out. We want moisture to get out, dirt to get out. You know, it comes in through the top of here, no matter how hard you try. Even on modern cars, it's like that. And then we've got this corner to make somehow. So that's that side, this side. This is going to take a couple of pieces, I think, because it arcs out this way, curves round this way. That's going to be fun. And we got this other side to make, which is mostly filler and fiberglass anyway. So again, we've got to make that. We've got everything here to make templates, to make panels. We just have to work it out in our heads. And I'll show you what I mean as we go. There we go, paint strippers on there, got the old bag on there as well. Just helps to keep it in and keep it moist. I don't know if I'm leaving it till tomorrow, if that's too long, but we'll see how it is tomorrow. Hopefully it won't be too dry, and that should just scrape off nice and easy. So I'll pick you up tomorrow when we scrape that off, and we can see what we've got left to do. Right, it's the next morning. This has had plenty of time to do what it needs to do. Let's see how it actually turned out. Well, it's definitely done something. Try and scrape some of this off. Let me just put some gloves on. All right, see how this goes. Not bad for first going over. There's a lot of paint on here. So Biggs is popping over tonight or tomorrow. So to strip this door down fully, and then I'll stick another load on there. Maybe won't leave it for quite so long because it has dried out quite a bit. But I'm just gonna get the rest of this door stripped down before we do any more. Right, here we are. As you saw, fully stripped the door, another layer of paint stripper. So let's see how this is looking. Oh, that's looking a lot better. Oh. See how this strips off now. Right, I'm just going to give this a clean up. We'll probably hit it with the 80 grit on the DA now. Just get the last of this off. So stick on time lapse and I'll finish that off.
Only in your memory, you wish it's only you and me. I really need to get some sleep. Used to say it's you and me.
Right, we've got the whole door apart, stripped down fully. We've cut all that rust out. So we've just got to start making new panels for now. The middle section's going to be the easier bit, so I might just leave that for now and then start off with these two M panels. So I'm literally just going to get some metal, stick you on time lapse, and you can watch me hammer away and try and make these complicated shapes. Probably going to make them oversized a bit because I'm not 100% sure what the bottom of the doors look like. I need to get to the other door and just check out exactly how that front section looks. So let's have a look and crack on with trying to make these two corner panels. I'll get a bit of the way through and then I'll pick you back up and I'll explain what I've done and what I'm up to. Probably going to get my sandbag out and just do some hammering to get some nice curves, work out these shapes. Let's just get to it, so let's go. So as you've seen, so far, I made these two pieces. They're gonna need, obviously, fettling while I weld them together. But you can see sort of from that. So we've got this shape here. I'm gonna add this, so I've got this shape here pretty well. Sort of butts up pretty well there. I'm gonna add this section to it afterwards, just because it made it easier for me to bend this edge. Also, it gave me the right amount of curve here when I bent it, so I didn't have to put a sharp 90-degree angle on it, and it just makes it nicer for when it goes to match the curve that's on this one. So that's that bit made, and then we've got this little bit here. It's got a little step in it there. That bit just, so that's that step there. And then that goes onto there. So then we've got to add this flitch along here. And there's actually another flitch down the backside that goes that way as well. So we'll have to add that afterwards. It is a little bit piecey, but once I've welded it all together and we've ground back all the edges, smoothed everything off, it should be like a nice one piece of metal that looks like the old door. So that's sort of the winning combination, really. Not a bad start. As you can see, there's a lot of work goes into just adding these little tiny, curves, and this curves this way and it curves this way. But yeah, not a bad start. If we can do similar to the other one as well, that'll be a good door by the end of it. So let's crack on. So this one's all made up. We just have to finish this little corner and put the flitches on this. But before I do that, I want to get this panel onto the door before I add the flitches. And we need to, work out this panel here first too. But before that, I thought we would crack on with this one. Let's get the other little corner made. These are the hard bits to do. So let's get this bit done. You saw a lot of the process on the previous one. So I'm going to try and get this off. Cutting it out off this. That lovely bit of filler there. That's lovely, isn't it? Nice bit of filler, that. So we're going to get this off. Weld that back onto the door at some point. And then we need to remake this 5 different sections of metal into one piece of metal. Which would be nice, wouldn't it? So yeah, I'll stick you on time lapse. And you can just watch me make this rather than stopping and starting and talking to you about it, because it's exactly the same process as the other one. So let's go. Right, now we have these two corners fully made up, apart from the little extra bit here and the flitches. I really want to get these welded onto the door just to get some structure back in the door and just to make sure we're on the right track. But these look pretty good. They're very similar to the original. So let's get the door back out, get these lined up, scribed on, and see if we can get them to fit. Go. Right, as you saw, I've had to cut quite a bit of this section back out. It just wasn't tall enough and nothing was really fit. This end, perfect, it's all fitted really well. I've only done one straight edge so that I've got a bit of play back and forth, and just want to make sure everything lines up on the back of here fine. And then, so now I've got to make this piece, cool, and I'm just going to build a flitch all the way along from both ends, all in one go. That way it sort of combines this bit with the centre section and this bit with one strong piece of metal with no weld in it, apart from this line here. I just want to make sure that I've got a good bend here and a good bend here to give me the real nice shape. And then this bit should all just fit together like that. And then, yeah, we're pretty much good to go. I've got a bit of wire stuck in there, so it's not going to go up nicely yet. Got to cut this bit off here as well. I've got a temporary piece of metal there and a temporary piece of metal here so that I know what to make this. But let's just get on to making this section here. Should be fairly simple. Why is this so much fucking bigger? Yay! It's loads bigger. I feel like it might just be easiest just to cut this off fucking 5mm and weld it back on. Because that was a mission. So right, in the last scene, you saw that I've actually made this bit too deep, but I think what's best is to actually fit this up, weld this on. This bit I'm going to cut here because this actually curves in too much and I'd quite like it to be the right curve there. So it's probably better I cut this little piece off. This bit is nice join here all the way up, and it would then support this corner into the right place, and then I can trim this bit down and weld that in. It gives us some good structure for me to then, I'm actually just going to cut this off and re-weld that. So yeah, I'm just going to stick you back on time lapse. I know this has been a lot of time lapse, but this is a very complicated piece for for you guys to watch for probably more than an hour's worth of footage. You know, it's taken me 3-4 hours to make these corners, this section. A lot of it's very close all the way along here, but I'm just going to run because it gets a bit further away up this end. So I'm going to run my wheel, my cutting disc along here, take away the crap old metal. There's a load of filler in here as well. where someone decided to make all this not quite right. But I'll stick back on time lapse. I'll do as much as I can. And then I'm just going to draw a straight edge along here and get that welded in as well. So yeah, let's get to some welding, man. This is a fun bit for me. So let's go. Right, there we go, guys. That's a big step forward. Pretty smooth. Couple of little high spots, low spots, nothing we can't sort out. Apparently you just put a ton of filler in there instead and then that sorts it out, but I'm trying to avoid that this time. Yes, I have to make these pieces, but that's all pretty flush together there, same level. Finish welding in these sides. But look at it's come out all right. So yeah, the next thing I want to do is measure on the original one or to the face somewhere else, just to guarantee that I cut this line. Because yeah, this flitch ended up being too low. But you know, I'm just going to weld it back in a bit higher. We're pretty close to getting this door almost ready for the front section, but that will be in the next episode. Let's crack on with getting the rest of this built back together. Get some solid metal in here. At least we've got the structure of the door back. It already feels 10 times stronger on here from that flimsy door full of rust. What would you have done differently, guys? You know, give us a comment what you would have changed, what you might have done differently. You know, obviously I would have definitely have got this correct. That would have been what I'd have done differently. But, you know, with the tools I've got, I'm trying my best. Right, guys, it's been a long ass episode. I'm just going to leave it here. We've done most of this inside door. Obviously, I'm going to grind all this back, but I'm going to do it all off camera now. The next time I pick you up for this, I'll be putting these, well, I'll probably put these slots on before the next episode. I'll just get all this bottom edge all boxed off, ready to go. And then the next episode, we'll get this outer section on and we'll just make sure that this fits the car door. And that's almost this complete. So we have got a new build starting. I've been working on it in the background. Something maybe a little bit more modern than what we're used to at the moment, but I'm sure you're going to love it as much as everything else we've built. I also want to do some modifications on the bike, just a couple of little things that I just think will finish this bike off for myself. But I'll film them in the background and we'll just make one episode on that, because I know you guys are stuck around for that bike, and that's for the I love you all. I just want to say hello to all the new guys, all the new subscribers. Shout out to Simpsons Classics. He's had an absolute mare with his new workshop. So if you're coming over from him, welcome. If you're just a new subscriber because you found the channel, welcome. And if you're a new viewer, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. We've got loads more going on and we've got loads more coming up. You guys have been patient with me, but I've got some stuff going on in the background and it's all gonna start picking up again soon. Summer's here, we've got some late night evenings, so let's crack on and do what we can. Take care, everyone. See you around.